After a tough, nasty campaign, the results are in. Alberta is getting a new government. Jason Kenney's United Conservative Party won a dominant majority, sweeping out Rachel Notley's NDP. The UCP looks likely to hold 63 seats. That is out of 87 in the legislature.
Help is on the way and hope is on the horizon.
In his victory speech, Kenney talked about the struggling economy and high unemployment. Energy issues and the fight over pipelines dominated the campaign. Kenney says the UCP will pull Alberta out of its economic tailspin, and he is taking square aim at Ottawa. I want to walk you through some of those riding results. Now, Notley was elected during an orange wave, but that wave really, it turned into a blue surge. The UCP took 3 seats from NDP cabinet ministers. Here's what happened in Edmonton. NDP leader Rachel Notley managed to hang on to her seat there. The city remains, as you can see on the left there, mostly orange. But very different picture in Calgary on the right of your screen. Voters in the province's largest city all but kicked the NDP from its borders. CBC's Aaron Collins has been following this campaign closely. We've talked to him over the past few days. He joins me live right now from Calgary. You were at Kenney's victory speech last night, Aaron. What is the Premier designate planning to do to shake things up, to put his mark on this new government?
Well, Suhana, you mentioned it in the introduction there. Job number one for Jason Kenney and the new UCP government once they get into office is going to be to get more people working in these towers behind me, to get Alberta and Calgary, specifically's energy industry, back on track. He's got a few ways he's planning to do that. Number one, he's going to be lowering corporate taxes here. He's also saying it's going to be a summer of repeal here in Alberta. So he's going to be scrapping that carbon tax, getting rid of the cap on emissions in the oil sands, all hoping that, you know, the idea is that there's going to be a renewed investment in Alberta's energy sector. The other thing that Jason Kenney did, and you touched on it there in the introduction, is committed to really pushing for more pipelines and essentially declared war on anyone who's against that. That includes foreign money coming in to fund environmental groups. That includes the federal government if they get in the way, and that includes any of the provinces out there that want to stand in their way too. Here's what Kenney had to say about that last night.
If Quebecers and other provinces want to benefit from massive transfers developed by the hard work and resources of Albertans, then they must be partners with us in developing those resources and getting them to international markets.
So Kenney actually delivered that message in French. A big move here in Alberta. There's no question who that was directed at. And he's basically tying transfer payments that have long flowed out of Alberta to the rest of Canada to getting more pipelines built.
And some tough talk on pipelines. What's the reaction on this morning after? Yeah,
it didn't take long for it to come back. We've heard from the Premier of Quebec, François Legault, earlier this morning, just about an hour ago, already responding to Jason Kenney. I'll let you hear a little bit about what he had to say.
First, I would like to remember Mr. Kenney that via the Enbridge pipeline, we already received 53% of our oil from West. So it's already a lot. We're open to a gas pipeline coming from Alberta. But right now, honestly, and it's unanimous, all parties have the same position. There's no social acceptability for an additional oil pipeline.
No acceptability for an additional oil pipeline. That's not going to be received well on the streets of Calgary here, and it sets up a really fierce battle, an ongoing battle, not just with Quebec, but with BC to the west here, as Mr. Kenney tries and tries and tries to get another pipeline built. It'll be very interesting to see how the federal government responds today to those words from Jason Kenney. We will be hearing from Environment Minister Catherine McKenna in about an hour, I believe. She's speaking in Vancouver, if I have my information correctly. So very interesting to see what she has to say. Definitely, Alberta looks like it's declared war on most of the provinces and maybe the federal government.
I know you'll be listening for more information, further reaction. We'll talk again. Thank you, Aaron. CBC's Aaron Collins in Calgary.